Starting.
How many nickels would you have, Paul?
A plethora.
Yeah.
That is
At least a
many.
fistful.
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure my
Wait.
cat's meowing is being cut out by the noise canceling on my headset. That makes me kind of sad.
I got a little bit of a mew there, but it wasn't much. Wasn't much.
No, she was screaming.
Good times. Good times.
She wants me to play with her. She's gonna have to wait. That's okay. No, she doesn't quite play fetch, but she likes it when I throw her springs.
Spring.
Yeah.
Those springs, I tell you.
Yeah, I'm never disassembling a spring-assisted knife around her. I'll never find that spring again. Bah, 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 bah. It's gone.
Just gone forever. What's up, Justin? In chat.
How's it going? How's it going?
Hello.
Yo.
Hope we have audio. I'm sure we do.
Well, you didn't earlier, so I mean,
Oh, well.
that's okay. We can make do, but
Just don't tell him.
He's gesturing wildly and screaming, "What's going on?"
that meme with the chalkboard behind the "It's always sunny" guy.
Yeah. Oh,
So I mean, obviously, we're going to be talking about SHOT Show tonight.
So, SHOT Show 2022.
it happened. There's a lot of
As the title says, some weird stuff.
There was some weird stuff. They were like knives,
but were they really
weirder? But weirder.
Can I also say, because I don't think we're really going to touch on it, just judging on the notes that I have and what you guys sent in. But the stuff that we didn't comment on was a lot of like samey, like a lot of flat, monocolored G10 handled ball bearing flippers this year from basically everybody.
Yeah.
There was a lot of those things. There was things missing too, and things that normally aren't there. Ben, Black Frost, thanks for joining us. Cheers, gentlemen. Not really like related to what we were talking about for knife related either, but Cold Steel was there, which is kind of a first because Lynn Thompson was all uppity about going to the SHOT Show.
Yeah.
How big was their banner?
Probably about the same size as everyone else's was. So I don't know. But and then the other thing that was kind of super weird was no ZT.
Right.
So Kershaw coming out with a launch and coming out with some 154 American made stuff, but ZT was just very quiet.
Very much a yeah.
I think we lost Paul.
Our heads a bit. Oh crap! Yeah, we might have.
Sorry. Oh,
you got audio but no video, my friend.
Oh, weird. That's not a great pose to be in. That can go.
Well, it could be worse.
Yeah,
Could be a lot worse. Could be mid sneeze or something.
So,
I mean, I just looked mid dub. There we go. We're back.
Yeah.
Now we can see the dumb live. It's good.
I'd much prefer to be dub live.
I think that can be said about this entire stream. We can
just gonna say we're here every
SNS dumb live. Oh, Paul froze again. Terrible.
Oh, what the shit?
At least it's just your video, though. As long as you can still hear us and comment.
Stanson 357. Thanks for joining us as well. Good evening. Good evening. Shot Show. People watching videos. I'll throw it out there before we even start. Yeah, things that are grabbing people's attentions. So on and so forth while we're rounding this out. And Paul's back. Yay.
Dubious as
For
that may
now.
seem.
Yeah.
I don't know if... Oh, yeah, we kind of haven't done that yet. Do we want to talk about what we're carrying?
Pocket drops? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we can. We can.
Pocket draw.
Pocket draw?
I went first last time.
I can go first this time.
That works. I think I went 2 times ago. I think you went last time, Dennis.
Yeah, so kind of getting over being sick here. This is the first day I'm feeling somewhat okay. But last couple days and today, it's actually been the capsule from Kershaw that's been hanging around. Because I haven't been needing to cut a lot of stuff, but this is actually a fun knife to just kind of fiddle with all day.
Absolutely.
By any chance, is it maybe topic related?
It could be. It could very well be.
You son of a bitch.
I knew one of us would bring it up, and I wasn't disappointed, so it's
I
okay.
thought it was going to be you, so also not disappointed. We'll get to what we're talking about in a bit here, but yeah, that's too funny. That's too funny. I didn't get a backup picture of that. I probably should have, but
Yeah, that's all right.
did you get that picture zoomed in on your chinchilla? It's soft gray fur.
Oh, no.
Use your chin as a
As a backdrop.
background.
I don't think there's a...
We're
I
gonna
don't know.
amputate something if we're not careful. Like seriously.
Yeah, I mean, like, his main body is covered in a pretty thick batch of hair, but his ear would probably get sliced off if we're not careful.
One tail twitch, and it's just to the vet.
Yeah. The only knife...
I'm willing to take.
The only knife I stick anywhere near him. I didn't hear that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't.
I said it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Oh yeah, good for you, Paul. No, only.
I mean,
knife
I'm okay
once-
if Paul takes that risk as well, just for the record. It's yeah.
I see how it is.
You don't have to open the knife to take the picture.
That's horseshit, my friend.
That's a cop out.
Just like tape it on so it doesn't move.
Reminds me of a thread on
Tape it
Blade
on.
forums.
It's a
Knives on my
bayonet.
cat.
It's a bayonet coming off the top of their head.
Attack chinchillas, man. You don't know.
Who's next?
I'll go next. So maybe also kind of in a theme, we talked about it already, the fact that ZT wasn't at the show. And so yeah, I'm carrying the 456 because I haven't carried this thing in a while.
It's a chunky boy.
It is. It is. It's an interesting picture.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It makes my brain hurt.
I might actually try and turn it just one turn and see how that turns out.
I mean, even just the angle, the blade is much stouter than it leads onto, and yeah.
Yeah. The whole intention was to make it kind of a weird, like, distorted view of it.
It's interesting
And
that
it's
the
hard.
lanyard hole ends up being the focal point. It's
Well, it's hard to get that backspacer to pop from any sort of normal angle.
Yeah.
I know these things because I'm carrying a ZT today too.
Well, there
And
you
the
go.
backspacer
Oh, yeah.
I did try to make pop as well. And it had nothing to do with them not being at the SHOT Show. It's just when you get the chance to get a ZT on clearance price, you say, yeah, I should probably take a ZT at clearance price. So I picked up one of the little slippies.
you sure did.
Nibbies.
So yeah, carry on the ZT 235.
Very nice.
which I probably would not have purchased at regular retail because, you know. But having said that, that's the way a double detent should work. I'm talking
Right.
to you, Savivi.
So
I'll talk
is
to
it
you
safe to
later.
assume that this purchase was made partially because you're like, finally I can do the thing?
Oh, very much so. It's the snappy closed is nice, and apparently, and we're going to segue into the SHOT Show 2022. The what the hell is it called from Kershaw? The micarta handle thing. I don't even know if any of us picked it for a thing. The Federalist, I think, has the double detent. So there's a good chance that Federalist you're going to be able to do the same thing you can do on this guy.
That might be a reason to pick that thing up.
It's kind of cool. It's still too much money, but it's kind of cool.
How many $8 is that one?
I want to say it was like 145 American or something. Dick Richards, how you doing?
169 apparently.
CAD?
CAD?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It doesn't actually say whether we're looking at it in CAD or USD.
I'm not happy with it CAD anyways, but I'd much prefer 170 CAD over 170 USD.
Mm-hmm.
Just a touch.
But anyway,
I want one less now.
I'm pretty sure none of us actually picked that knife for any of our top picks. It was just one of those like, oh yeah, that was probably the best thing Kershaw probably tries to have running for him this year. Other than the opposite end of the spectrum, which was an auto.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, their launch series has been pretty universally well received by those who can have automatics.
Able to receive them?
Yeah, exactly.
That's dirty.
Are you capable of receiving it?
Don't say those words in my vicinity.
You're never going to get a yes if you ask it like that.
I don't want people to say yes.
That's the point. I'm banking on a no.
A memoir.
Oh, shit.
Too good.
Oh.
Too good.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's accurate.
Right.
So, yeah, we want to start this train.
Do we want to start on high notes and work our way down, or start with the honorables?
Well, I think the last time we did good, the bad, the honorables, and then the holy craps type of.
We can do it that way. I like that.
I think is the order we did it 2 years ago when they had a SHOT Show. Last year we just did the reveals because they didn't actually have a SHOT Show, so we just talked about each catalog's reveal independently every week because we had time.
Yes. Yes, we did. My good choice isn't actually one particular knife.
Oh, you're cheating.
There. No. It's one.
Cheater.
It's okay. We could narrow it down to one knife. I'll actually, you know what? Let me bring that up as the specific example. That's what I'm talking about. So my pick for the good, and it's not something that I would normally pick. I feel like you'll see what I mean once I bring up the picture here. Yeah, Condor is starting to use 14C 28N Sandvik in a bunch of their models.
Your number one is a Condor this year.
Yeah, the Aqualore.
Good sir. Good sir.
I'm kind of really interested in, to be honest.
And it's the Aqualore out of all the 1428 Sandvik picks that you had. It's just a variation of the Bushlore.
I really like the Bushlore, but
they came out with like 5 new Sandvik models.
I know. Again, this is more just like the best example that I could think of quickly out of the line. Also, they came out with a Darklore. You can see below it, which is 1095, and I think the naming is just dumb as hell, but also difficult to forget. So good job, guys.
Paul told you?
No, I was going to say me and Dennis came up with an idea for that thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Change the E into a D. So it's the Dark Lord.
and now I
Boo.
might actually have to own a bush lore because of that.
It's like, hold on, does it come with red liners? Because if so...
I wish there was red liners on this thing. That would have just...
Condors, get in the game of limited editions.
Just fill your lanyard tube with red epoxy.
I know I'm zipping through here quick, but I thought I'd be able to see some of the other stuff.
So interesting, very interesting that out of everything that came out this year, you're like, nope, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, specifically, it's got the Scandi grind as well. I don't have that many knives with a real Scandi grind. The ones that I can think of offhand are actually all Condors and 1075. So I'm interested to see how this works. You know, I've always liked the Bush Lore profile, but this actually makes this pattern interesting to me.
There was a couple condors that intrigued me with the Sandvik, other than the Aqualore itself. Breeden came out with a whole bunch of new, I can't remember what they were called.
Well, they had
spec knives or something like that.
Just on the previous.
The one you're talking about?
What's that?
With the one with the good belly and kind of a warny blade.
There's 4 different blades like in that series.
The Sport Zero series, the XERO series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Zero series. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've got them up on screen now.
I like that top one.
The Sport Chef's Knife, yeah. It's not bad.
And I was taking a look at all of them in one of the videos that had come out recently. And the red one I like less in person than I thought I was going to, but the brown canvas, the one on the bottom, definitely appeals. And so does the blue one as well, for sure. But I thought I was going to like the red one too. And then when I saw it in person, I was like, no, doesn't cut the mustard.
No.
I mean, just leave the mustard out.
No.
Put the mustard back in the fridge.
Yeah.
You can't make a good Montreal steak sandwich without some mustard. I mean,
I will go to the best Montreal smoked meat place in town and order without mustard. I had the chef come out and talk to me personally about it.
Yeah, he should. Would ban you from the restaurant.
And then was like, "Are you sure you don't want anything on it? Like, it's gonna be dry." And I was like, "Have you eaten the smoked meat here? There's nothing dry about it. Right. I will be fine."
All right, knife related.
There.
So yeah, the goods, you say.
So that's my good.
That's interesting.
It's a weird pick for me, I know.
There's a lot of things that came out. I'm surprised that the Boker wasn't your goods this year.
It was up there. It was a close call, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was anyone else's goods either. I guess we'll find out after the show's over. But
find out, yeah. Might come up.
So the goods for me, I guess.
Sure.
Now this one was kind of a cheat, a little bit. They kind of announced this knife like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, something like that type of thing. And I really liked the original design. And then they came out with some new versions this year. It's only a month apart. They probably had the prototypes in the ready as they were releasing the original ones. But it was the Viper knives, the Hug, the new little traditional thingy that they came out with. And they came out with some bronzy ones, but particular the black one with the bronze milling after they blackened the bronze. And you get this like firework kind of style.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the nicest one of the bunch. I think you're right there.
Pardon me. So, yeah, And there was a couple things that were definitely front runners. I know I sent Joe a handful of other honorable mentions that we won't get into right now. But I mean, M390, it looked like it had a pretty decent half stop. For a modern traditional and something nail nicky. I was looking at the collection and I'm one good traditional short of kind of being happy. Right. So
Just one, eh?
There's worse ways to be in life.
maybe two, but that would be pushing some stuff out of the shelf.
I love that blade shape.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I dig it.
And like I said, even the original ones that they came out with micarta handles and carbon fiber handles, as soon as I saw it, whatever it was, month and a half ago, something like that, when they announced it, it was pretty sexy. It was after Blade Show, so I'm still counting it as a 2022 model.
It was a common thing I was hearing from a lot of manufacturers in these interviews, but it sounds like a lot of guys just had we had our prototypes, like we just finalized the heat treat and got them assembled on Saturday or whatever Friday, and now we're here Saturday kind of thing. Like it was kind of down to the wire to get shit in for the show. Cool.
I more and more I'm looking at Viper Knives stuff. I'm like, I like their shit. It's for whatever they're making. Yeah.
Can't disagree with you there at all.
No, I think that's a solid pick. Yeah.
Infinite Gunworks is one good traditional Slippy away from having one good traditional Slippy.
Well, the problem is, sir, is you need to take advantage of traditional Slippies when they come up. You know, if you care. I don't know if you care. It's
could go either way.
Those Rough Riders, bang for your buck. Get your hands on one of those if you want to play with one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And get your hands on a Rough Rider doesn't sound like it's a knife advertisement at all, for the record. It's
Nope.
Don't worry about it.
It sure doesn't. But,
yet here we are.
there's no going back. So,
all right.
I think my only comment here is that more and more lately, I feel like the design, the artistic flair on a knife, as much as it mattered to me before, lately it feels like it matters more and more when it comes to a knife I potentially purchase.
we got
some spam. Yeah, it's some spam.
That's annoying.
It's small details, right? But I understand where you're coming from, Joe.
Absolutely. I really, really like the way that the hug looks with the inlay, with the butt cap of titanium as well. But I can't argue with your point here at all, because that knife looks fucking gorgeous.
The contrast is poppy.
And I think there is one other picture that is not just a good contrast without the other bronze ones in the background that I thought was a pretty decent shot of it as well. But it's kind of like the Spartan blade. They made the Harsey folder and they were showing off 4 variations of the Harsey folder. And I don't think any of us picked the Harsey folder. It's technically not a new knife. Yeah, that's just a sexy contrast on that knife when you look at it, for sure.
You see the darkening of the handle more here.
The bronzy, the way it's been darkened too, and those corners will turn up and start polishing over time to see the bronze underneath. I think over time, even this knife will patina very cool. Harsey blades, Spartan. What we were talking about? They pulled out that one that was the Royal Flush.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the cards. Yeah,
the cards, and then the backside had the texturing of like a bicycle deck or something like that. Holy shit! That knife will never be my favorite knife of the year. But it was pretty just because of the engraving that they had done on it, right? So
yeah,
that's completely fair. So correct me if I'm wrong. Did you say that this is actually bronze that's been like darkened, and then
I believe so. All 4 of them are a bronze
Okay.
series
I just
that they made.
assumed titanium that had been anodized, so that's even cooler.
Well, I don't believe so. I believe they are actually bronze, this whole series that they're making, because they do some titanium ones that are gray titanium already.
I
Yeah,
wonder.
absolutely.
I wonder if they're getting onto the aluminum bronze gravy train that ProTech is currently riding, because that seems like a really nice material to work with, and the colors. You could make the colors pop.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Definitely a euphemism for something.
Make them
yeah,
pop, Paul.
that's a royal flush. Oh, that's what they call that. Yeah.
Nothing royal about it. Anyway.
Your Majesty.
Does that mean it's my time for
That's keep this train rolling. Yeah, you bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We know on a 2-hour stream, we're actually doing a good job here, boys.
It's all downhill from here.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna like take what Dennis said about his knife kind of came out a little while ago. So this is his fault that I chose the Fox Knives Saturn that came out at Blade Show.
You're
Last year.
cheating. Yeah.
Um,
My honorable mention was almost a Blade Show pick, and that kind of axed it for me. But anyway, go on.
Absolutely. I was struggling that hard to find things that I was really excited about this year. And this is a major purchase. They're not cheap. So if I'm going to get one, it's going to be that one. With the
Was this even a Blade Show this year, or was this a Blade Show last year?
2021.
Okay. That's when they announced this guy.
Yeah.
Because the Radial Lock was their drop pointy one from
The radio
I
has
thought
been
that-
around for a while. Yeah.
a couple years now. Okay.
I can't remember if we ever were able to confirm before that you could swap the blade and make it lefty, but they did confirm it in the video that I watched.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's high carbon blade with copper, actually, like,
Do they say what kind of high carbon?
I forget. I'm going to be honest with you. And I can't,
Some-
short of like going back and rewatching the old video, they don't really mention it terribly well in the video from this year. And it's not on Fox's website yet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's a Paul looking knife. Yeah. What's that knife? Is it the Pentagon? The one that you clicky and shunky open and close? That's totally what this knife is, but without the opening and closing part of it.
Absolutely. Which is probably part of the reason why I like it so much. It's also double-edged right out of the box because you never have to touch the blade to open it.
Right.
I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheating.
Absolutely cheating. But it's pretty.
There was a handful, because you said you're struggling for goods and you came up with kind of this cheaty answer. There was a lot of things that was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Like there's a handful of those, but you're right. As far as like standout, like,
Yeah.
holy crap, I need this type of knife. I can understand where you're coming from.
That was the reason why I picked this one, was because this is the knife that I'm like, as soon as I'm available or able to order one, I will be buying one.
We heard that.
Yeah.
As soon
1,000
as
times probably
as
already.
soon as you're available.
Yeah. Don't be making gestures behind your hand, Joe.
Yeah. I just didn't want to cough right into the mic, but you know.
You make those gestures to my face.
Oh, I'll do
Don't
that.
either.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I mean,
the answer, but how
Little-
cool is that?
I kind
And
of
it's got a little fox on it.
I do kind of agree with what you're saying about the options being kind of limited this year, though. There was a lot of stuff where it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's about the extent of my
not bad.
reaction. No, that's actually kind of something else I noticed. Is there wasn't really much here where it's just like, wow, holy shit, like just awful. There were a couple, but there wasn't as many as previous shows. It feels like.
Okay, there was not a lot of things that were awful, but there was a lot of things that were just like, what are you making now? Type of, yeah.
Yeah. We will get there.
So, yeah. And while I'm thinking about it as well, and we're still on the goods, I want to throw out there as well that I think it was Fox Knives. It was either Fox Knives or maybe Lion Steel, but someone now as well is making another M390. There was in one of the videos they were talking about what steel is it, and it's a blubbity blah blah blah. We'll hear about it in a week, I'm sure, when I rewatch the video, and I'm like, oh, that's what company it was. But one of those sons of bitches is using another. So there's four, because 204p and 20CV and actually M390, and now there's something, and they like straight up said it's the exact same composition as M390.
I wonder if it's a smaller steel company that they had to go to get it, because everything's been so limited the last year or so.
And I'm very confident that it was one of the Italian makers was rocking this. Yeah.
Maybe it's a local Italian steel or something like that.
So I don't know.
Is M390 Bowler?
Yeah,
Yes.
Austrian and Swedish.
Sorry, my cat's attacking the power cables.
That's a euphemism.
No. I actually meant that quite literally this time. This time.
So do we want to jump onto some bads?
Yeah.
Keep this train rolling.
Should I do the obvious one?
Well, you can do whichever one you want to do. There's a handful of bads.
Okay. I've just got it queued up in a tab here, and it's a quick video. I'm gonna play it without audio. This is my pick for the bads. Oh wait, no, sorry. That's something else. That's something else entirely.
Are you trying to jump to the what the fucks before we get to the bads?
Yes, this is just a screenshot. I already have it ready. This is still my pick, but so bad, but maybe not for the reason you think. Dennis may have already. You guys may have already thought about this, but my bad. I'm actually picking the live bladed kinetic.
Oh, that's not what I thought you was. An artisan, also your WTFs?
Yes.
Okay. That was the one I was thinking of. Okay, go on. Why is this one the bads?
So, there's, for those of you who don't know somehow about this, this is a push-button, side-opening automatic, and a butterfly knife. The way this works is, if the spring is under tension, and it can be opened by pressing the button, and you do so, the blade is now open and locked against a stop pin. That's all well and good. You can then twist it as a butterfly knife to close, and then twist it as a butterfly knife to open, and it's still going to be against that stop pin. But now what happens if you have the knife in its closed position, ready to fire as an automatic, and you open it as a butterfly knife? The blade is now under tension, prepared to close. Now, not close on your fingers like blade first. It'll close towards the spine. But that means that as you're going to cut things with this knife, you're putting pressure against the lock. This is the only knife that I can think of that is like this, where as you are using it and pressing the blade into something, you're actually stressing the lock by doing so. So, kind of what the fuck? And I didn't see any sign of any kind of safety. Maybe it's something they're going to design in to prevent something from slipping or failing, and it's not like plunge locks are particularly weak, but it did strike me as a bit of a design oversight in that particular regard.
Have you played with the tool?
I want to say someone brought one into the shop, but I don't know if I was there for it.
Okay, there has been a couple come through the shop, and yeah, I have played with them. It's not necessarily something I've noticed as far as the cutting ability. But again, like his plunge lock, yeah. And then as far as over travel, there's not much because it acts like a balisong. But
the fact that the button is that exposed,
What is
and
that?
that is the fact that the button is that exposed and not recessed in any way, and that is also a concern something that might happen. It's kind of concerning.
Yeah, and like for me, it comes down to if I had this knife, legal for me to have and all that, if I were to go and use it, I would be using the automatic opening motion every single time I actually planned on using it hard for anything. Because
you would have to. You would have to. Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm going to be worried that, okay, it's going to slip off of that lock interface. And now I'm going to end up with the blade coming shut. And again, it's not going to hurt. It's just the equivalent of the knife. It would be like if this was closing this way. The spine's going to hit my hand. But it's also spring-loaded, so it's going to want to close. It just... The whole thing is weird. It's
going to slam into your knuckles. Into your poor little fingies.
My poor little fingies.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was one of the only things I saw, but probably the loudest thing I saw out of the show this year, where I'm like, I could consider that like an actual flaw. But, yeah.
I see what you're saying. I don't think anyone is doing crazy lock tests with this particular knife.
No. No, but the fact that, like, the more dull your knife becomes, the harder people tend to press into materials to try and cut them. Yeah. It's just an accident waiting to happen, and it just seems like a bad idea.
But I think after playing with the tool, and I did get a chance to play with the tool as well, I think you almost have to, like you were saying, have to deploy it as an auto, and then you can play with it as a bally and whatever type of thing. But really the opening mechanism, yes, you can open it as a bally, but once you spring it once, you can flip it and close it and flip it and close it. But then the spring loaded is gone. So when you close it, there's nothing on the button short of you opening it and resetting kind of the lock to it type of thing, right? So
it just seems like something you'd have to be weirdly conscious of every time you actually want to use the knife for anything. That's all. And honestly, yes. I can't think of a good way they would fix this. Like to alleviate that concern. I don't think there's a good way of doing it.
It's not that big of a thing to be like, okay, I open it this way if I'm going to use it.
Yeah. And you just have to be conscious of. And I even noticed that too, because I did hit the button on the close and had it whack backwards on your knuckles. And you're like, oh, that's kind of funny that does that if the spring is still coiled after you're flipping it around like a bally, right? Yeah. So.
Yes.
In diddly doodly.
Anyhow, that's my... my bad pick.
Yeah, it's artisan. They will go out there.
Oh, they will.
Paul, badness.
Is it me next?
Yeah, that's the game we were playing.
Fair. So my bad for the night is the Ontario Rat 3 Ulu monstrosity.
Okay. This was somewhat in the running. It was.
Really? So you guys don't absolutely love this thing? What are you talking about?
I mean, just look at it. So the thing that made it the worst for me was they talk about it having the Rat 3 handle, super comfortable handle, blah, 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 this and the next thing. And I can't fault them for that. The Rat 3 handle is quite comfortable. It's nice. But then they proceed to say, to use the Ulu properly, you need to reach out past and pinch grip the blade. So you're not really using the handle on this knife. And it has to look like that to be what it is, and it makes me sad.
So are you allowed to put all of the Rat 3 variations into your bad category? Because I think that's where they belong.
Oh.
Yes.
Like
I almost did that as well.
Remind me of what the other variations were.
Complete crowbar, just completely squared off.
Yep.
Crowbar completely square with a slight belly, and then Ulu with a lot of belly. Like it went from like just a square rat to a slightly bellied rat to a really bellied rat with no tip on any of them.
Yeah.
See, and if they sharpen the forward edge, kind of like a Razel, you could almost say that, yeah, this is just a super hard use utility version of the rat. But no, they didn't go that route.
The one scraper one is like chiseled down, but I don't think it's actually sharpened.
No, it doesn't look like you would have a hard time sharpening it if you really wanted to, the diamond file or something.
It's like the Rat 3 is just sitting there, and all of a sudden his like 3 weird cousins come up, and they're just like, something's off about him, but you don't know what. That's like this entire family that came out this year of the Rat 3.
Just
there was like something, lack of some healthy human interaction.
Vicious inbreeding.
I didn't actually pick it, but the bayonet there that you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen was almost one of my choices.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Will we now? Excellent. Oh, God.
Yeah.
But yes, this thing, and like you said, choking up on it to use it Ulu style doesn't have this Rat 3 handle, but the entire family. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Like, seriously.
Question about the steel on these guys. Were they always 1075? I thought they were 1095.
I think if you go back far enough, they were 1095. But they have been 1075, I believe, for a while, which is kind of surprising. I don't know how far back that goes.
Because I heard the guy say it in the video, I'm like, does he not know his product? Like, wait, do I not know their product?
No, it's been a couple years now that I think the Rat 3s have changed to 1075. I think all the other big boy knives are still 1095, but...
That's odd. That's very odd.
A little disappointing.
It certainly is. Certainly is. Well, and you didn't pick the wannabe tracker knife either. I was going to take a screenshot of that too, but...
There was no wrong choice out of that lineup for this category.
And yes, Justin has a 1095 Rat 3.
Or the product.
So yeah, I'm sure if I looked at older catalogs that I have, it says 1095 on the Rats.
Absolutely.
But yes, well deserved on the. What are you thinking?
Like, made that sharpening choil a finger choil so I could use that to get forward on the knife.
Or put a hole through it so you could index it and rock it Ulu style. Like put a hole through the blade. The Stucca styles. Yeah.
Look, if you're gonna make an ugly knife, at least make it good.
At least make it useful.
Yeah.
Useful.
That one's still thick behind the edge, but
but I've used it on like meat in the kitchen, breaking down chicken wings and stuff like that, and it is a beast.
It's S30, so I don't think you want to go thinner than that, right? So
no, it goes right through chicken bones like they weren't even there. You don't even have to look for the joint.
So yeah, that was definitely a well-earned what the hell, guys. Ontario always has a couple of those. Remember when they made the jet fighter pilot thing into a Tanto and then a chisel and then a just Warncliffe and then just like stop it? They're trying to do that to the Rat 3 now. It's seriously just stop now. Leave it alone. Maybe a Tanto. You haven't done a Rat 3 Tanto. Is that so hard? Just like, let's start there before we go into like this, hey, my pie plate broke. Let's turn that into a knife.
Dennis has feelings. And you know what? They are correct. They are correct feelings to have.
I mean, or make an Ulu. Like steal Knives of Alaska's design. Do something. Like, Jesus.
Like Condor came out with a Ulu. Yeah. They came out with an Ulu and you can't? You serious?
Well, they can. They just got to put the handle in a weird spot.
They just got to make a Rat 3 out of it.
Like, you could have put the handle on top in my Carta, and
actually even shaped like a Rat 3 handle. That would be the
you
worst
probably
thing in the
could have
world.
got away with it. You totally could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
People would have freaking bought it.
I hate that.
It would have been in my what the F categories instead of the bad categories, but still.
Absolutely.
All right.
Speaking of your categories, Dennis.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah. So I see you got 2 entries here. Which one are we?
No. It's a fixed and a folding. They come as a family.
Okay, fine. I'll accept
You're
it.
allowed to cheat. I am too, you son of a bitch.
That's half the
Okay,
fun of this
well-
game is figuring out how I can cheat.
They announced
Which-
them as a family. I'm going to announce them as a family.
Okay, and which family member are we starting with?
These are the Sog Knives.
Yes.
Don't ever say
Sog,
that again, Joe.
Sog came out with 2 knives called Vitellis.
Yeah,
Knives.
odd name
2
choice.
L's. 2 L's in Tellus.
Okay.
But yeah. And one is a fixed and one is a folder. And they actually got my attention on the folder for half a second. And this is one of the reasons I made it a bad, is because they lured me in, those sons of bitches. And they put a G10 scale overlay. You might as well bring up the folder because that's the
Yeah.
picture that I highlighted. Here's the fixed blade. Yeah.
Yeah, I swapped over to the folder here.
But then the folder, they did a G10 scale over top of the frame lock. So for bitches like me that don't like mismatched stuff, and like Nigel that used to join us and part of our group and blah, 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 they actually solved that problem. I did like a bit of a fragmented G10 overlay, even screwed it onto the lock bar so it does flex where that seam is and the whole 9 yards. And they had me right up until the point where they were like, yeah, you're meant to hammer on these, blah, blah, blah. And what steel are they using? And he's like, oh, 440 cryo quenched. And the interviewer was like 440C. And he's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Pardon me, was that not the CEO of
Actually,
the company
for
who was being interviewed?
I don't know. A, B, or C? I don't know.
To be fair, the blade isn't even labeled. You would bet they would label it if it was 440C. So
440 cryo quenched. And don't get me wrong, this big tank of a knife is $50. The fixed blade's only supposed to be $60. American, whatever type of thing, right? Sog.
Okay.
it's got to be 440A if I'm going to put money down. But
yeah. And there was a handful of things from Sog that actually were worth of being like, oh, okay, you made one of those. Oh, okay, you made one of those.
Is this the guy from Sog, or is this the new GSM guy that's taken over at Sog?
Hella good question. I haven't seen this guy before, but you don't really see Sog reps a lot in videos a ton anyway. So I don't honestly know.
Okay.
super
I think
brief
this
note,
guy's new compared to the other guys that I've seen. Yeah.
just about Sog. They came out with a knife called, was that the Altair? Or Altair?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that was...
You're the one telling this story.
I don't think... Well, Okay, because I don't think... Nobody else picked a Sog for anything, right? I'm not jumping the gun here.
Other than the bads. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
For this guy, yeah.
It's basically a bug out. It's got a sliding bar lock, very like Axis style.
Oh, yeah. They even commented on it being very much like a bug out, but it's D2 and budgety. So it's going to be like half the price of what a bug out is, right? So they're trying to compete with the like skeletonized whole 9 yards. Yeah.
Which good. Somebody should. Try and keep those benchmark prices low. Yeah.
And Dick likes to RIP Cold Steel a lot, and now RIPing also Sog, and I agree with you. From what we saw, like 2020 and 2021, where all of a sudden they were doing some XR series, and don't get me wrong, there's a couple things that they were like came out with that was like, okay, that's kind of a cool evolution, whatever type of thing. But then they throw this out, which is just this hint of like Schrade got bought out to China, or like Gerber got bought out and cheaped out. And like this knife here has this just hint of, is this what Sog's going to turn into?
Yeah.
Compared to 2 years ago, or even last year, where all of a sudden it was like an XR, that weight, that comfy, that smooth. All right, you got my attention. I played with one. It was good, right? So this one gets my bad just because of the hint on the wind of, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
The sign of things to come.
On the wind.
There's an Anne Murray song in there somewhere.
I hope not. The sheath attachment options actually look kind of cool though for the fixed blade.
Okay, that is something I don't know if they're going to put on other things, but it does intrigue me a little bit.
Just
on
in
the
terms
fixed
of
blade.
multiple angles on a mounting rig, like in terms of that, the solution to that problem. I thought that was an interesting way to approach it.
Yeah, I'll give him credit on that one. That's where part of what had me hooked in as well. those sons of bitches, is they talked about that, and then they talked about the G10 for better ergonomics over top of a frame lock, and then they told me that it was 440 question mark.
Come on, man. It's cryo treated. Get over it.
It's like saying, here's the stainless steel knife from Buck. It's Paul Boss heat treated. What is it? It's steel. Yeah, but what's it made out of? It's Paul Boss heat treated.
We said steel.
We said cryo quenched.
What more could you possibly want? God.
Stop grilling me here.
What am I looking at for that attachment system?
I don't test hardnesses. It's a triangular thing where the screws come out and you can kind of rearrange it in any position. And because the things have slides, you can pretty much put the screws however you want to put the screws, and then angle it 45 within itself type of thing, right? So
kind of hope someone rips that
within
system off, because it's kind of a cool looking system that looks low maintenance, mostly made out of steel components, and easy to adjust. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if that orange piece was like G10 or something, or like nylon even.
Yeah, FR red.
Yeah. Some sort
fair
of.
enough,
Whatever
fair enough.
Sog happens to call it.
Yes.
Quenched.
Now that is their own patent on that thing as well. So give credit to Sog. I don't know. Maybe I will buy your clips instead of your knives.
There you go.
As long as you're giving them some kind of money.
Everyone wins.
But do we really?
No.
Like Justin said in chat too, though, is it bad that he likes the way it looks? I really like that fixed blade. It is a cute little fucking
design's not bad. The
so
lines
what
aren't
you
bad.
what you do here is you go buy a lion steel and just get over it, okay? It's because it looks like one of those.
Do they have one with a stubby little blade like that?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Cool.
It basically looks like your SR1, I think, right?
Just pretend I'm not here, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a fixed bladed SR4, SR5, SR6, something like that. There's one of them. I can't remember.
Okay.
They might not be an SR. There's something. They're numbered. They're lion steel fixed blades. They have a bunch of handle colors, woods and G10s and.
You know what? I'm just gonna buy that little Warncliffey thing, the H1 or H2.
Yeah, you should do that instead. It's a JS6 waiting to happen. Yeah.
Easy done.
JX5 technically because it's got the ring on the back, but.
Yeah.
All right. The uglies. No, wait. The honorables.
Oh, the honorables.
Are they though?
I think so.
Yeah, I got thoughts.
I got the feels. I get the feels for things.
Do we want me to go first again on these guys?
Yes.
That's the direction we're going.
It's a theme.
If
we start messing with it now, it's going to be 2 hours.
I know it's orange juice, but that straight up looked like you were just drinking scrambled egg yolks.
Egg yolks, you bet. Get some protein in me.
Yep. Okay. So here's my honorable, and it's not egg. It's not egg related. I think not.
We can make it egg related. Watch this.
I'll be the judge.
I want to see how you do it.
Sounds like a challenge.
It's the SNES Vision, but being produced by Wee Knives. So
they don't actually have a name for it yet, do they?
It's called the Vision, I think.
Did they call it a Vision? Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have a name for the lock, though, right?
No, they didn't.
No,
I forget what SNES actually calls his
spine lock or something.
Spine lock or power lock. Wait, no, the power lock was a Spyderco. Anyway,
power lock was the thingy, the other thingy. Yeah.
So look at the clip on this thing. It's totally using the Graham Razel style spine mounted clip, and I'm kinda into it. Yeah, I'm very interested. This might be a knife that I buy sight unseen.
Okay, go ahead. No, Paul.
I was gonna say I love the way the blade looks. I like the lock, but I hate that clip because I don't wear slacks. If I wore slacks,
I wonder how long it takes them to get an aftermarket out to a Lynch or an MXG or a blah, blah, blah that's compatible. That'll go lefty, righty, something, something.
Yeah.
Over the top and through the woods to grandma's house we go, right? So.
Thank you for completing that.
Wow, you have to. You can't just start it.
So I get that they're trying to show off the lock by having this hole here right beside the pivot. So thanks for putting in the fucking dirt trap, guys. Just nice, perfect area for random bullshit to fall into my lock interface. Fuck.
If it is the perfect size of a Q-tip, I hope they planned that like that. That's all I'm saying. If it's smaller, you guys are assholes.
Now that being said, you can actually, like, if this is the knife and it's open, you can pull the lock down and peel it out so it pivots. So okay, it's easy enough to clean without really any exterior tools. But even so, are you fucking serious, guys?
We start a petition
about
we need to start a petition to get them to change the name to Dirt Trap, just for the knife.
It's better than Meatloaf.
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll talk about that later.
I'd rather not talk about meatloafing if I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
You don't control me, Joe.
It's unavoidable. You're the one that picked Condor as your best pick.
Don't worry about it.
You started this.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a good honorable. It's a good honorable. So I had a chance to buy a tactile turn bear 2 weeks ago with MagnaCut and being all slicey and all up in the hey. And I even had the fun for it at the time. And I said, no, sir. I will not buy that knife for a ridiculously good price. And I kind of feel the same way about this. Now, what that kind of is leading on to is the honeymoon phase of holy crap, that's amazing. And Joe, don't get me wrong, it's a unique mechanism and I can understand. And I'm intrigued by it because it looks like it's a smart design and it's all of the like shark locks and the ram locks and the whatever else that's out there right now and kind of thrown into just a very simplified device that works the same way.
Yeah.
But do I buy a knife that I don't necessarily, like I'm not necessarily in love with it, other than cool lock? Blade shape.
Like
Meh. I mean, what's that Leatherman free blade? It's not far off from this sumbitch.
Shut your whore mouth.
Look at it, the K series,
The
something.
The Leatherman Free might have a thinner behind the edge profiles. Just saying.
There's a good hollow grind on that Leatherman. What was that, Paul?
Another bot in chat.
Oh, lovely.
Oh.
So annoying.
But it's Lucas Townsend.
It's your favorite color, Dennis. What are you talking about?
I had this as a maybe pile for my good and or honorable mention. But I would honeymoon the shit out of this knife for 3 months, and then it would just become something that's just kind of a weird mechanism. I'm not in love with the blade shape. I'm not like, oh, I could carry that for a long time running.
It's not my first choice blade shape, but I feel like if I used it, I would enjoy it.
Pretty
and it
utilitarian.
kind of reminds me a bit of a smock.
I was just gonna say,
you bet. And with the fidget factor of the locking mechanism and the whole 9 yards, wait 2 years until MXG comes out with a clip that works for it, and then I don't have to settle with a Razel clip.
But now here's the thing: I don't know whether that clip is gonna bug me. And I'm not sure if that harsh 90-degree corner to interface with the lock is going to bug me. This is a knife. This might actually, if I do go for it, would probably be one of the very first knives that I buy with the plan in the back of my head of like, might put this up for sale if I don't absolutely love it after a month of owning it and playing with it before like carrying it seriously. And if I have kind of like honeymoon phase fades away, I have problems with it, it might go up for sale. but I've always been interested in his design, and especially in that lock. So, yeah.
Like I said, it's right up your alley, and I totally am actually surprised that it wasn't your number one. And Condor, for goddamn sake, is got your number one, and this didn't. Kind
I'm
of
glad
amazes
you're
me.
buying it so I can play with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And potentially own it after his honeymoon phase
There
gets
you go.
like it's.
Everybody wins.
Oops, Joe, sorry I dropped it. And
Hmm.
then buy it from you at a discount because somebody dropped it.
Yeah, okay.
Beep, 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 beep.
Indeed.
All right, good stuff. That's a decent honorable mention. I will say, yeah, it was one of the runners for me. Paul, what do you got?
I got a Pokey. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know the name of it. But
Do
it's
they
an
have
OTA.
one?
It's a stupid name. It's Slike. Slike.
Oh, okay, that's why I don't know it, because that's stupid and I just threw it way out of my brain.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking dumb. Not gonna lie.
It's sleek, but it's Icelandic, so
But it is a manual out the
it's
front
not. It's not. With a half stop.
with a half stop, which is the one thing that I wish the capsule that Joe is carrying had.
Damn Skippy. And I was wondering, I'm amazed that this wasn't in Joe's running too. Again, like what the goddamn with Aquas or
So this actually was gonna be, but
Sorry, Joe.
without you guys talking, Paul stole it, is what
well,
you're saying?
I saw that it was there, and I'm like, okay, I have other backup options.
We're gonna talk about it. Good enough. Good
Yeah,
enough.
exactly.
Tell me that's not a us knife though.
Oh, dude, I'm fully committed to buying 2 of these fucking things at the very least.
Okay, and what
Um,
did we all say about the capsule being like, hey, it would be cool to have a half stop, so if you were just cutting tape or something, you could just pop it open. I don't know how many people that handled the capsule, us included, all kind of said that. And Boker did exactly that. And they threw this little half stop springy pin thing.
So here's a quick video just showing the action, courtesy of Knife Center here. Showing the half stop. A G10 on both sides. The most flow-through construction I've ever seen.
Yeah, no shit.
As long as it's the size of a Q-tip, we're good.
Yeah. So I do actually have one minor problem with this knife. And I call it a minor problem because it's never gonna matter. But it's something that's like the old Christie knife that had the same kind of button lock mechanism. The way this works is there's a steel plug that controls the travel.
Sorry, Joe. Xaminator, I don't know if you're out or not, but yeah. Have a good night, brother.
Have a good night.
Take care, man. Yeah, basically the play in all directions is controlled by that button. So if you have even loose tolerances, don't know if you can hear that, but there's a decent amount of shift on this blade. Not enough to really matter in use, and not enough for me to care on the Boker. I love the design enough; it's not going to factor in, but that is something to keep in mind.
I'm like, you own one of those skull pocket clip CRKTs. What the fuck did you bitch about lock strength?
No, not so much lock strength, but like just wiggling. That's the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, even just play the glide lock or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, mine's okay, but apparently enough had problems.
Well, and even if they develop over time, in order to take that knife apart and actually like fix it is terrible. Whereas this just looks like it's kind of 4 screws and the whole thing comes apart. Yeah.
So I'll be buying 2.
One for each hand, or
No, one for me to put away and to just let it be, and for one for me to actually use fairly consistently for whenever, and then whenever there's problems, I can either repair it or just swap out to the new one. Because Boker makes another one of these types of knives called the Slide SLYDE-R. It's a stupid name. Sorry,
I said fucking Germans.
Yeah.
Let's try to be subtle about it.
On that note, CPM, thanks for joining us. Hope you're not German. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. No, this would have been one of my my top picks, if not my honorable. But
And for the record, an Italian would say that. But anyway.
Oof. But yes.
Yeah, no, it's a good honorable mention for sure.
Was there an MSRP on this by any chance?
No, but the Blade HQ. You know what? I actually had it.
What do you mean? I stole a video or photo from Blade HQ.
Well, I had it in one of my
He keeps
other.
on spoilering the fact that we totally pirated a bunch of videos from other people.
It's
But
okay. This is a reaction video.
Full
It's
background
all
is being
fair.
very simple.
It's all fair use. I don't give a shit.
Fisk,
like-
Guten Tag, Guten Tag.
Yeah. Guten Tag.
Oh, what did I forgot. In the video they actually show. I wonder if it's more visible on the reverse here. Oh, come on. They actually have a price tag attached to it.
Yeah, but it's only the part number that's on it.
Nope. $75.95.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. So
Now
what's
that's
75, 70?
That's going to be, and that's
Did they
MSRP.
use-
So it's going to be.
Did they
a little
use
bit
something better than 440 cryo quenched?
cheaper. D2.
The clip is very Boker, but I'm going to deal with it.
Yep.
It's very Formax Scout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or not Formax, sorry, 8010. Sorry. Yeah.
But very deep carry. Like, I like this knife. I like it a lot.
You would.
And I'm
This is
just,
awesome.
yeah, I'm just happy that Paul picked it.
Can we get this exact same knife, but in a like drop point blade? Because
The fact that it's out,
also.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. The fact that it's an out the front, I want it to be double edged, just because it can be safely without any real worries or problems.
I want a scarab, but manual. Okay, that's all I want in life.
And yes, Ben, I have to agree. Fisk's rant about the 31, it was art. It was art, sir. It was
So, did anybody else think that
black and white film with film noir music in the background? That's how I pictured the entire thing. Like,
perfect? Did anybody else think that Tim might be talking about Mr. Fisk when he's like, "There's some people that might not like our knives."
Yeah. Let's just put it this way: on my notes for the SHOT Show, CRK gets like one line compared to the several lines for everything else I watched. Not much to take note of there.
By changing the finish, they now made Chinese knockoffs easier to make. Like,
Touche.
left my story on scene. Did you expect an answer? Like, seriously.
Would you have preferred if he just like took a picture and gave you one of these?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, actually.
He's bad.
Sent back the same kitty cat eyes.
Fisk, I haven't been super active on Instagram over the last few days. I've been way too out of it, but I hope that story is still up.
Yeah, I would love to. I think I.
That one's worth saving. That one's for sure.
Because now the expectations built up. I need to see what everybody's ranting and raving about.
All right. Am I on honorable here?
I think so.
All right. This one actually came down to two different fixed blades. Neither one of them were Condor because I have standards. Damn it.
Bullshit.
I'm better than that. Especially $130 Sandvik steel. Come on. Maybe 8 years ago.
Is that what they're going
Oh.
for? I didn't even realize the price. Shit. All right.
Yeah, who do you think I am? ZT from 5 years ago? Come on. And don't get me wrong, I like the 170 blade. It was just overpriced. But anyway, it's speaking of overpriced Sandvik. I don't even know where I'm going. Oh yeah, Tops Knives. Yes. Who got my honorable mention? I actually was struggling over the knife I picked or the Marbles collaboration Woodland knife. But again, it's one of those not necessarily a new knife. The Woodland was a sweet knife, but the one I picked was actually the smaller Silent Hero. 4-inch blade instead of a 7.5-inch blade, and just looks like it's like an Azula Rat 3 ready to get work done type of shit. And I like it. I like it.
I like the nice centralized tip.
Yeah. That's a nice touch. It's not their standard powder coat. It's like a smooth Cerakote at this point, right?
Several of their knives this year are Cerakoted. So yeah. Including the Woodland knife. And I didn't get a picture of the Woodland, unfortunately. But it's a Marbles Woodland. It's been around since the 80s, and Marbles actually reached out to Tops and asked them to recreate the Woodland Topsy style, which, it was a good-looking knife. So I struggled on this one. But me really liking my plain, boring drop point knives, and I like the Silent Hero 7. It was a big, weird, recurvy Bowie-looking thing, and this thing is more functional version of, I guess, yeah.
How chunky is she?
Probably chunkier than it needs to be. It's a Tops, but I mean, if I need to scandy that thing, I can. I don't think it was, because they actually talked about it being thinner than the Silent Hero 7, the blade stock in the video. Yeah.
I'm not hating on it. I'm asking if you could like baton and stuff like that with it. I know it's
undoubtedly. No, it's a Tops knife with 1095, and that thing's not a Zero or a Scandi or a whatever. So I'm sure you could beat on it, but it's only a 4-inch blade. We got spammers in the chat again, Joe. But yeah, it's so you're not doing anything too major, any more so than an Azula, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But being a big fan of the Azula and that size in a big knife, small knife combo, having something small on your hip when you've got a saw or a hatchet or an axe or something that you can go with it instead of a big chopper knife. I appreciate it.
It's a good combination with something like this too. This around camp, you can carry that one pretty easily.
And yes, Dick Richards, Tops did make a Gladius. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Is that like one that's like this wide?
Well, it's no Cinquetta, but
hey, man,
that was the Magnum 888, I think, the one with the rail sight on the back of it. That was the one that looked like the big fish market chef's knife from Tops.
Okay,
don't get me wrong, Tops came with some crazy shit because it's Tops. It's like cold steel, but well made.
Why did it have a gun rail? Like you can put a scope on that thing.
Hopefully.
To see where you're gonna stand.
Long range throwing. I mean, obviously. I've thrown my Tom Brown. It doesn't throw very good. It throws okay.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty solid pick. It seems like a very you pick.
Yeah. I mean, I have liked for a long time. It's called the Hog 4.5, and this almost reminds me of a smaller Hog. Yeah, that's right. I said it.
No. Smaller Hog.
That's a fantastic comment. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Cerakoting Tops getting away from that thick traction coating that they like to put on shit. They are still doing it on other things, but I'm glad to see them branching out into some different colored Cerakote type of stuff. And he said he thinks they've landed on this bronze. So, you know.
I kind of like it. I like that color.
Yeah. And the original Silent Hero was leather because it was a black dangler, kind of big.
Is it weird to say that I'm happy that they've moved away from the like two-tone G10 that they normally use?
Green and black. They are mixing it up, but they've still got their traditional stuff that is still, yeah.
I think
Like-
the digital stuff deserves to be there, but I like seeing the variation. That's all.
Yeah, like they released new variations of the Steel Eagles this year, which were kind of a re-release. But
yeah. I remember them saying something like they were discontinuing the original that they had kicking around, and now they're doing a reiteration.
Mhm.
So that's cool.
Yeah, the God bless you and the Gesundheit comments. Absolutely fantastic. Not knife related in the slightest. Thanks for being on the same page with us, guys. Thanks for
Shit.
following along.
Hey, man, they gotta entertain themselves somehow. Lord knows we're not doing it.
So, apparently Silent Hero 4 doesn't do it for anyone. What, you don't want to overpay for $10.95 like I do with SE products? I mean, may I suggest Topps products that you can overpay for instead?
No.
Is their warranty as good?
That's pretty good, I think, but I don't know if it's as good.
I don't think they cover intentional destruction, but everything up to that, I think they still cover. I think.
That's what I need. That's all I need in life.
Yeah.
I want to say they have a reasonable warranty. And probably by that I mean if you're reasonable, they probably will be too. It's
How open-ended.
wow. There are some people that do some things that are not reasonable.
This is true.
And yes, the SNEX Vision was definitely on the short list as far as what came out this year. For sure, CPM. Yeah,
Sure.
I agree.
I do like the fact that there's two different spots of jimping, so you have more than one grip. A lot of companies are just like, you put your thumb here, and if you want to put your thumb somewhere else, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. You can go fuck yourself. No, I mean,
We got at least a few more minutes. We got to get through the words before.
we gotta get, okay. All right. Joe, the WTFs. What do you got for a pick?
Well, this shouldn't come as a shock. So it's going to feel like I'm picking on Artisan here. Because both my bad and my what the fuck picks are from Artisan.
You have a video?
I do. But
Okay.
can you blame me?
I'll be back in 2 seconds. Government mandated.
Oh, okay. So, I'm going to assume Dennis has already seen this. He knows what I'm talking about. So, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. So, this is not a double action out the front.
Yeah.
This is a single action closing out the front. So, you first action, you press the thumb slider forward to unlock. Then you rack the blade forward to open it. And then to close, you pull the switch backwards. Okay.
Pump action knife.
Now that isn't the reason this actually makes the what the fuck list. It's what they said about this design. And I'm probably going to have to reiterate this. I was hoping Dennis might be lightning quick, but unfortunately. They're working on reversing the action. What this means is instead of a knife where you're racking it to open and then flipping a switch to quickly close it, you can quickly open it and then use basically a charging handle to load the spring each time.
Basically a halo, but in a different configuration.
Yeah. The reason why this is just what the fuck is because in a world of double action automatics, where if you're going to own an automatic, it may as well be double action, right?
Yeah.
Why does this exist? Also, I'm a little salty because I would have bought the racking version because it'd be legal here. If it's an automatic closer, it'd be legal for me to have. And the Boker Matic, which has been discontinued for years, did a very similar thing. You have to manually slide the blade open, then you squeeze the handle in a certain way, the frame shifts, and then the blade snaps closed under tension. I've always been a little salty that I missed my chance to grab one of those before they basically disappeared. The fact that they're working on changing it, and the prototype is basically what I would have preferred to have had, really cheeses me off. But
You should send them a strongly worded letter.
Oh, I will. I won't, but I kind of want
Just
to.
ask for a Canadian legal version.
And then Joe, I don't know if you have that picture that I sent you of this said knife as well, but
Maybe.
I do have a still shot of it out.
My favorite is the fact that it's a pump action knife.
What the hell, man? What the hell? And the slide is where the edge is.
Yeah, that just seems like an accident waiting to happen.
Holy shit! Like, I thought Kurt was going to hurt himself in the Blade
actually
HQ.
said in the video that they were looking at putting that on the top of the knife.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the Blade HQ video in particular, when Kurt racked it, I was waiting for him to just come off of it and slide. Like it was, he did a couple things this year that I was like, whoa, dude, you're going to hurt yourself. Simmer down there.
Man,
Like,
come on.
Yep.
Wow.
No, I think it must have. Don't actually see that picture from you, Dennis, but that's okay.
in the rest of WT or the WTF ones instead of the ugly ones.
Oh, here those are. I didn't actually get that email till now. I'm gonna save those pictures before we get to it. There we go.
While you do that, Joe, did we ever mention the fact that the artisan vendor, is his name Richard? I can't remember.
Don't recall.
I think so. That sounds right.
Or Russell, one of those two. We've slagged on him for like the entire life of the channel.
Every year.
As far as his interviews go at SHOT Show. And I have to say that this year, he might have actually been the best interview at SHOT. Just between knowing exactly like both who made it, what the materials are made, like the knife is made out of. Everything was right there. He knew exactly what was going on. The number of people that were like, either I don't know or hold on a second, I'm going to look off camera to this person that's actually going to feed me information.
And the filming stopped and it said, please stand by while they were trying to get the right information because interviewers didn't have it. Yeah, for sure. I will take a brief break here. CPM mentioned something. I was going to mention it at the beginning of the episode and I forgot to. Mel Pardue. We got the news this afternoon that apparently the legend did leave us. So cheers to the man. One for your homies. I wouldn't have 4 different variations of a grip Chilean in my collection if the man didn't know what he was doing. Like influence. Yeah, good times. Oh, and a 530. Look at me go. Thanks, Joe, for that, by the way.
I still regret giving you that thing.
Cheers,
you
guys.
made me sad because now I'm thinking about that knife again.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
That's one they should bring back. Anyway.
Yes. Next year, a tribute.
But yeah, no doubt, straight up something tribute for Mel.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year, some mid-year gold class. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be nice.
Don't hurt me like that.
Deserves to happen. Anyway, This is a good still picture of what the hell this knife is with the sliding lock and the Swiss Army looking blade. Anyway,
I don't know if you were here for it or if you were just getting back, but I was saying to Paul and to the audience that the way that it's designed right now, I would actually consider buying one because it's somewhat similar to the Boker-Matic in operation, and it's stupid as hell, and I get that, but it's my kind of stupid. But they're actually making it in auto, so I don't know.
If they made it in this configuration, I would be hard-pressed not to buy it because it's so ridiculous.
And there's no way I would be able to bring myself to carry it seriously for anything, really. But, I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to open it ever without being like, and then opting to do a cut.
And to Fisk's comment, Les is already up there, giving him a little bit of that he's okay type of thing. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
He's got someone on the inside already.
So,
the WTFs, Paul. What do you got for a WTF?
So we were talking about how we weren't going to have egg talk, and we lied. Because this is the Benoitiest ball of all things you could possibly buy as a knife and gear.
I want to know what the price point is before you even have said what it is, because I know what you're. I want to know.
I have no idea.
I know, but I want to know.
You want me to look it up?
And
It's a category
secondly,
mag full of sadness.
second of all, it was actually one of two choices that I thought you might pick for Lion Steel, so that's funny.
Yeah.
Les discontinued the 710, but he had a good run. I mean, you got to let some things go.
I can't find an MSRP anywhere for the record.
For the
thing,
again,
all the egg talk.
Anyway,
not doing my job properly. I don't have the name for this thing either.
I don't know if they had a name for this thing either. I sent Joe a bunch of pictures of this sumbitch as well.
Good.
You want me to
Maybe
pop
he
it
has
up?
a picture of the blade in it, because that's my biggest gripe with this whole thing. Gripe number one, it's an egg. In what world is a screwdriver shaped like an egg a good idea?
I'm just throwing it up there. Holy shit.
As far as ergonomics and not slipping, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Unless those textures have like some deep milling to hold you in place.
Yeah.
It's an egg. I'm salty about it, apparently. The only thing that I heard them say that was like, oh, okay, that's nice. The threading is nice and smooth. It's very smooth to unscrew and screw back on.
I just want to say, it's called the Eggy.
Oh, and now I'm even more upset.
It was almost my honorable mention. And then they showed me the knife, and it ruined everything.
So that's the thing, right? Step one, to use this thing, you have to open it, dump all the bits out, select the one that you want, put it into the bit holder, and then screw the top back on, and then remove something. For some reason, they have most of the shaft doesn't have a hex drive on it. And then they added a blade, both of functionally useless edge length, and I say that owning a Quark.
Well played, sir. Well
Bravo.
played.
I gotta own it at this point, right? But not only that, but the knife is so small in this giant egg handle, so you can't really get the knife to the thing you're trying to cut. Like, it's just
Opening
just a
boxes.
word.
Just opening boxes. That's the only thing I could think of for this. Like,
Are you going to
Tape and price tags. Like, seriously, that's about it. Yeah.
Are you going to unscrew this thing, dump
No.
all the bits out,
no.
put the knife into it, put
No.
all the bits back, tighten it down, and then use it, and then do that again in reverse?
No,
Have
because
we
I'm not
talked-
buying this thing.
Have we talked about how you're going to get the knife blade out without hurting yourself or the blade when you shake all the bits around it to get
Well-
the knife blade out? What's
well-
it made out of?
Don't worry about it. It's a sheep's foot.
Probably
blade. It's-
M390. That's what I'm worried about. Is I'm paying top dollar for this son of a bitch.
So okay. So
Let's
is there
see the
like
chat.
is there
This
like
is a bad tool.
is there like foam lining on the inside of the lid? Like that's the only thing I could think of that where maybe it would protect it from
No,
something.
they've got
It's
like
nice.
probably magnetic slots that they all slip into, because I do have a picture with it like open and you
Yeah.
can see all 6
I've
pieces.
got that there, but
They
they
dump
dump
them
it.
out, though.
It couldn't be magnets. Yeah.
So maybe it's just like slotted in and they bump up and forth. Maybe that's why they made it a sheep's foot, is because
Yeah.
It's got a clip on it, so you're supposed to clip it to your keys or something.
Yeah. It
and
sure
just have
does.
it swinging around, beating the piss out of your edge the entire time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this seems like a very ill-conceived.
The fact
And second
that
of all, I don't think I need to screw the top piece on to use it. From this picture here, you
No,
could
but
probably
you
just
the problem is, there's
unless
no
you want
magnet
all
in the
the
back.
tools. Yeah. Unless you want all the tools falling out as you're using it.
how do you expect to get the boat anyway? You have to pretty much ditch all the tools every single time you want to get
Yeah.
one out. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're okay with dumping all the tools out, taking the one you want, putting it in, and then using it with all your other tools just fucking hanging out, sure.
And it might just be the prototype, but I don't think this actually has a magnet in the back. When they insert the tools into it, they don't seem to like.
They don't seem to click or okay.
No, and because there's only a very short amount of like actual hex drive, if it moves around at all, it's going to disengage from that. So sure, you can probably get away with not doing it, but it's probably easier to use by twisting that thing on. Twist it on.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
also,
a good.
I
That's
don't
a good.
get a flathead screwdriver. Don't give it to me.
I have a knife. What do you think of the knives for?
I think one of the tools is a glass breaker too, if I'm not mistaken. That also makes me upset.
Can you imagine someone upside down in a car trying to like get their tools out, dropping all the tools? Yeah, catch the knife blade in the face, trying to get the fucking glass breaker out. Ugh.
Perfect.
Man, when they dredge that lake, it's gonna be hilarious. Like
they were so close.
If they had literally any other tool, they would have survived.
It looks like he got a paper cut while he was drowning. What the hell?
Oh, terrible. Terrible tool.
Yeah, like
all right.
There's been a whole run of terrible screwdrivers that have been coming out over the last year, not including the CRKT one, because this thing's awesome.
Yeah, it's all right.
At least that you could use as a freaking bit. Anyway.
It's a screwdriver. I like it. It's
sure
actually a screwdriver. But between some companies only giving you bits that are like, 2 variations, and other things like this monstrosity.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, you did. A first production Eggie.
I hope you lose it in your Hainus.
I'm pretty sure that you could modify that thing to shoot 22 shells. But...
Is Hainus?
That too.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess my WTF is next in line here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some honorable mentions, but mine has got to be the Civivi.
Yeah, that was also on the list.
So it's sharp everywhere. That's all I'm going to say.
As you want it to be.
Well, Joe, do you mind bringing up the what the hell were you thinking? Because apparently this year there was a whole bunch of things that like rules were thrown out the window. If you could come up with some sort of bullshit, everyone was on board.
So in this picture, it doesn't look that bad. And in this picture, well, that bad, for it to be on a... It looks weird, but nothing like Dark Ops or Shadow Cutlery or whatever they're called. Veth. He came over.
Tom Veth did. For sure. Joe beat me to that one.
Yeah.
But now here's a picture of it again. Don't be fooled, friends and colleagues. These aren't 2 different knives. It's the same fucking thing. It's a folding fixed blade that has 2 different open positions, and no closed positions.
All the worst traits of both in one knife.
The reliability of a good solid fixed blade, it's not going to change what it is as you're using it, especially in a tactical life or death scenario. What if we made it move? Okay. Terrible.
Does it bend the wrong way to anybody else?
I mean, no, only because the serrations kind of make more sense in that location with the blade bent. But only by that much.
That hook on the backside is totally a karambit, claw.
Yeah, for sure. For sure it is. So, but the other thing, the serrations, I agree. And with that, although with using the back of the serrations, if they had made the long sweeping part serrations and the close-up part just sharp, I'm on board. I'm on board.
Can I remove the mechanism and just have it be free-floating so I can carry it?
Like holding an access lock down.
So if you do press the button, it becomes an access lock.
I know, but I want to do that in a reverse grip.
Yeah, you can. You can just hit the button with your pinky and just clack it all the way down the street. Yeah, for sure you could.
I'm just going to tape it open.
Tape it open.
Hockey tape.
Sick son of a bitch.
Finally a good use for hockey tape.
Okay, in all seriousness, though, this just seems like a...
Okay, so I will give credit. Their sheath mechanism, because it goes around the actual like bolster, or not bolster, sorry,
the flat area.
Tang, yeah. Unsharpened part of the blade, it doesn't go around the handle, so you can put it into the sheath straight up and down or angled.
I did like that aspect of it.
Man, it's the only thing you got. It's the only thing.
Can we talk about the jimping right in front of the sharp edge and those horrifying serrations?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's for where your pinky goes.
That's for the sheath.
Have you ever seen the things that make like vegetables into shoelaces? They're basically giant pencil sharpeners. That's what I feel like this is going to be to my thumbs.
Yeah,
no, thank you. No thanks.
Well, I think my personal solution is this knife is never going to be anywhere around my thumbs. So it's...
Unless you're picking it up to just dump it.
Like, I don't know. Even if I saw it, I would look at it and hit the button and move it on the counter and say thank you. And put it
I'm
down
genuinely getting more and more upset the more I look at it.
Yeah, that's
like the fact that it's not even like kind of symmetrical.
Like had you just designed a fixed blade knife in either the open or the other open position, I would have been like, wow, that looks like some Tops mixed with like Quartermaster mixed with Dark Ops bullshit. But fine, whatever.
It kind of reminds me. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Dick Richards made a comment, and yes, as far as penetrating power with that cutting and the serrated and and with the crooked handle, there's all sorts of doorknobby good action that you can have with this knife. Like, yeah.
I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of the folding TDI, but like a worse version.
But if it folded the wrong way and also didn't close.
But you have to carry it on your belt.
But again, as far as like a tactical knife, the design, like the profile of the knife, there's nothing really wrong with it. But
also for the record, Kurt Blade HQ, when he was playing with this knife, you're gonna hurt yourself. Put that down, dude. Seriously, this was one of the knives that, as he was playing with this, I was like, we're gonna watch an outtake right here.
Well, I mean, you can see the cuts on his finger right there.
Yeah. that is actually Kurt's head.
Was it was it MKM or what booth was he at where he showed the camera, he got some deep cut right in his palm like the day prior on some knife.
No, I had another knife that I was trying. I think it was actually that slide from Artisan, and there was one of the still frames that I got that there was very obviously just a big ass gouge in his hand. I was like, oh my.
In the Fox video.
That was it was Fox. Yeah, good catch.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my WTF.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody picked it because
all rules are off. Yeah,
I had to pick the Artisan, but I'm glad somebody picked this because Jesus Christ.
Okay, we got some other WTFs if we got time here. We got a little bit of time. We should wrap it up pretty quick, but
we got some time. Let me look some of these pictures up.
An hour and a half, but yeah. One of them, Ontario Knives, deserves a second because you talked about the retractable AK-47 bayonet.
Yeah.
Now, what we didn't talk about is the fact that they went into the effort to put S35 in that goddamn thing.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up.
Retractable AR-15 bayonet.
Yep.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. Yeah. I got a good picture. It's terrible.
If there was ever a design that called for like a tough, durable, easily resharpened, high carbon steel blade, you think of bayonet might be the perfect venue for it. Nah, let's use premium S35 stainless. That makes sense.
Good lord.
Because edge holding,
Good
right?
lord.
Like,
People.
and he's talking about like, it's pretty boxy, but it's pretty lightweight for the size. Like, pretty lightweight for the size. I mean, what? That thing must weigh like 8 ounces, 9 ounces.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I mean, if you're used to carrying a surge around, that's one thing. But
The only reason to buy this is if you own an AR and you think it would be hilarious, because it is kind of hilarious from a but like you said, give me SK5, give me 1095, 1075 even, because I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it because I'm never going to actually use it.
And that's just
give it
the
to
thing.
me as a joke, and I would love it.
Like, I don't think S35 is a bad choice of materials. It's just a bad choice for what the freaking product is.
And yes, Ben, I will point out, he actually turned us on to the original retractable bayonet, I don't know, last year or some months ago. I will give him credit. But yes, they've made it better.
In so much as they could. That being said, and I don't have any pictures for it, but just while we're on the subject of Ontario, they had some green FRN folding camp knives that were using Oz 8.
Yeah.
So those aren't actually new. They came out with those like last year at the Blade Show.
Okay,
so
fair
that's
enough.
Another one of those half-ass cheaty ones.
I couldn't remember if that was actually a new announcement, but I heard a price point when watching the video. Less than $20. I think they said like 6. Let me check my notes actually. Yeah, 6 in and around 16 USD for those knives in Oz 8.
And that's not MSRP. That's probably Blade HQ pricing.
But that's even with a Grant and Edge.
Yeah, but my point being, for Oz 8, this is a price point where Oz 8 kind of makes sense, and I'm kind of excited to see it there at that price point. Now, what the heat treatment's going to be like, it's probably going to be 58, but whatever, no better than most people.
Well, 52 to 58, it's fine. It's fine.
To be honest, my biggest gripe with that was that the blades weren't wider. It's a camp kitchen knife, and I don't want to be banging my knuckles off shit.
Can we speed through a couple other honorable mentions?
Yeah. Let me see if I've got a...
I can't even remember what else I threw your way.
I can just start throwing up pictures.
Yeah, okay. Good enough. There's a cold steel knife I want to rant about for a second. Other than that, but
that's in a different file folder. Let me bring that up.
Well, either
there
one.
You go. Oh, it's okay. I found it. Yeah.
Speaking of interviewers that didn't know what the hell was going on, the new cold steel guy. Yeah. For the first year that you're going to put out videos in 2022 at a SHOT Show because you guys are never there. Like seriously, you need to put a better face forward than the face that you put forward.
I don't know
except
video.
For what's that?
I don't know how I missed this video.
Cold steel.
Yeah, completely missed it.
Oh, that's bad. It's bad times. They came out with some up and down products. That new fixed blade in behind the Laredo, or a new Espada looking thing behind the Laredo. Yeah, the great big monster. Yeah. Anyway, Laredo, they've announced this year is going to come out in 4034. You've got to be kidding me. Out of everything that you've teased over the last 3 years, what's on your table is this fucking knife. Like seriously.
Tell us the worst part about the knife, Dennis.
What?
It's not.
What about it? 4034 is not
4034, but I'm pretty sure that it's just an injection molded handle with I don't know if that's a full tang blade either.
So the worst part is I bet we sell them. I bet they sell because they're cool looking.
They'll be cheap too. Yeah.
And
I want to say that they were arguing. This is one of the ones that they were arguing between G10 and micarta, and then bleeped, and there was a please stand by moment, and then they said that this variation might be G10, but they were planning on doing micarta. It took me a second to remember, but yes,
Okay.
they are. Yeah, this was one of the please stand by moments where it looked like David C. Anderson and the representative for Cold Steel were about to get all uppity about handle materials, and then it blanked out on the screen and says, "Please stand by," and they made a correction and continue on.
Yep.
Kydex Sheath, but come on.
Were they arguing? Is that what you're
They
saying?
weren't arguing. No, they were. He was like, it looks. David C. Anderson, I believe, said it looks to be G10, and the other guy was like micarta, and then it just blipped. And they came up with, I believe this model's G10, but there when they released, they should be micarta. Yeah.
That's fair.
The more I talk about it, yeah. So
I really want to hate this thing,
you should.
but depending on what the price point is,
So cheap. It's going to be so cheap. But it's like buying
so cheap. But if it's more than $100,
it will be more than $100.
because it's a fighting knife and I'm only buying it because it looks pretty, the cheaper the better.
Yeah, and it will be, and that's why they're going to sell them. But
Yeah.
out of my big gripe is out of everything that they've like hinted and talked about and flashed in front of people and A2s and 3Vs, and they did talk about 4034s and blah 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 and Trailmasters and Natchez's and Kukris and Recons and blah blah blah. And you throw out a 3V Recon that's probably less than 50 of them sold worldwide because they went from add to cart to sold out in a goddamn heartbeat.
Yeah.
To now the next thing that you talk about is a 4034 version of a Laredo. Get your heads out of your asses. Get us some Trailmasters or something.
Weird because they had those other folding models that, including that weird crazy thing that has that new lock that's basically, it looks like a cross between a shark lock and the Snex lock.
An Atlas lock.
Yeah. And they spent all of like a minute talking about that lock. It's like, okay, that was probably the most interesting thing you had on the table, was that lock specifically.
And no one's brought up the fact that it's essentially a ram lock from a pocket Bushman. And they all kind of work off of that same principle as well. But
and here's the thing, like apparently, now is it still patent pending? Or do they actually have the patent secured for the Atlas lock, this new thing?
Yeah. I think it was pending the last time we saw, but yeah.
Yeah, just disappointing.
I don't know what other pictures we got in that folder, but
let me dig through
the BS folder. There was a couple.
I'm upset.
A couple pictures of the Yegi. There was the Snacks. Oh, there was this guy.
These were probably my runner-ups for this was actually something that was on my short list, but it technically wasn't in a new knife. Yeah, the MKM in, what did they call it? Isonki?
That lanyard hole is not nearly big enough.
Insonzo.
They could have made it 4 times bigger. What a waste.
So the Insonzo came out as like a budget version, and MKM was supposed to be the super high-end fancy, and they came out with a whole bunch of M390 and carbon fiber and titanium. And then the one design that I actually kind of liked that was pillar-esque was all G10 and FRN handles with N690 Cobalt. We got another spammer there, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, the only, like, one of the nicer knives that they actually released was like a budget version, and they didn't come up with a nice version of it. This year they did. So it got my attention. And I don't know, I'm curious about it. Wire clip, ambidextrous, titanium pivot, polished, blah, 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 M390.
Can you get into that weird hook blade?
I hope not. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck people who might want it.
Yeah, like if your spirit animal is Kermit the Frog, maybe, but like,
hey, don't be dissing Kermit. The hell's wrong with you?
There's a connection there. I'm just saying, to that blade shape and Kermit. And if you don't know what that connection is, maybe it's closer to the truth.
Angry Muppet face?
Yeah, look at it. It's kind of Kermit the Froggy.
So now, isn't the hook blade basically like one of these guys, but just like shrunk?
Yeah, like if they made a mini tough with that blade shape.
Yeah.
That's
It's got less of a
It's
hook
weird.
on the end of it.
I mean, see, I like my what is it, the Spyderco Cricket, but I feel like it's just a bit much most times. I don't know how I feel
Justin
about this
is
thing.
angry Muppet handsing at us.
As he should be. I mean, that is the
Mhm.
appropriate and timely response. Yeah, Fist gets it.
Yeah, I think that's about sums it up. Did
I think, yeah.
send you anything else?
No, I think that was all you sent. I'm just double checking because I stuck everything in different folders to keep it organized. But no, I think we covered everything.
That was a handful, but
Yeah.
Shuffle them around.
well, sometimes you need a smaller hog, right? So
It's not a... No.
I'm pretty sure that's the takeaway for tonight. A memoir.
Mr. Fist wants the Eggy again. He wants to.
Like I said, almost honorable mention. If it had just been the tool, they would have got me.
Really?
But as soon as you put a blade in, yeah, I don't care.
Oh, bro.
It would have been handy. I think with that chamfering on the outside of it, you're going to get enough traction any more so than anything else round.
You do realize you could just take the blade out and not use it for anything.
You do realize you could make it literally any shape other than that, and it would probably be a better tool.
No, but it's a little hand grenade on your keychain. It's kind of funny. It's like the old bomb type of look to it.
If you don't get it anodized to look like a Cadbury egg, we're not friends.
I guess they're not friends.
Yeah, apparently.
Dennis anodizing anything? Come on.
Can you get it anodized white to actually look like an egg? I don't think that's a color you can do.
What about like a
but-
Fabergé
so
egg? We could do it like little gems inlaid.
Yeah. Damn Skippy. I want to see one of those.
Yeah. Asking price goes from like 180 to 230,000. No big deal.
Kershaw torque tool. Dump the bit out. But does it have a knife in it?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I also have a Kershaw torque tool that I really like using, but when I dump the bits out, I can put them back into the tube very easily, very quickly, because they don't have to go in a particular spot. In this
I
thing,
don't have to.
I gotta load it like a fucking revolver.
Okay, but how many times have you got that Kershaw jammed where three of those
Never.
bits, three stooges into the back end of it? That's bullshit.
Never.
We used to tap them on the floor and have an issue with getting them out.
That's
We're better
why
than that.
But that's why I took out the flathead Phillips.
Because it's useless. Keep
I never-
the three torques.
I have a Leatherman. Why the fuck would I? Anyway, but yeah, like no, I'm carrying that to
Why the
adjust my
fuck would I
pocket knives.
anyway?
Why the fuck would I anyway?
Yeah, you got me there.
A memoir.
It's useless.
They almost had me. I'm scared of the price point on this thing. We're going to keep tabs on it. Speaking of price points, Civivi, I'm going to end it out. I'm going to bitch about Civivi again. They came out with that Calamity looking thing, which we don't know the price point on, but they came out with another fixed blade that they really got my attention on. It was called the Teton Tickler. It's actually on Civivi's website, Joe.
It's the what?
I'm sorry.
Teton Tickler.
The Teton Tickler. What
Do
the
it.
fuck?
Jump on Civivi's website. We're going to close this out. I know we're like pushing 2 hours again here. 'cause
Tauntaun?
We're terrible.
Teton, like T-I?
Teton. Teton. Like the mountain range.
Oh my god. Okay. I didn't know what to picture in my head.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that
It's a
looks like
fantastic looking knife. Oh my god, it was on my list. It should have come up on my short list as far as I want it. That looks cool.
that is quite.
Leather sheath looks a little cheap with the belt loop and the brown and the blah blah blah. Look at the goddamn price point though.
Yeah, 260 American. For what?
For D2,
For
sir.
D2.
For D2. I
They
don't
could-
care how much you polish that my car.
Oh.
So
Or
are
that-
they not informed Civivi that they're the budget brand?
No. See, they're
They're
the
not allowed to pull that shit.
They're the mid-level brand now.
Yeah, but since when is $2 billion?
I get where you're coming from.
Oh, the Teton Tickler cost an additional $50 from where Fisk is from, but It's because he lives in a dry county. I mean, you got to be drunk for that type of thing.
Gotta buy the bottle. The round handle, like I like the way this thing looks, but I feel like that round handle would spin.
I mean,
one might say it would tickle.
No, it wouldn't tickle.
I don't like the implications or the name.
Okay, here's a shot of the spine. It does look like it's actually more narrow in the cross section there than it does face on, so it might locate in your hand a little bit better.
Anyway, this deserved to be on the short list until the price point was like slap you in the face.
I don't care. Okay, I don't care who's making it. D2 at that price is it's uncalled for.
No, it's uncalled for. It's a true story. It's a true story.
What did your SOCP in D2 cost?
Too much fucking money.
Less than this.
Yeah.
Not by much though.
200?
220, something like that.
220 after 220 with shipping and tax, because I bought it from outside the shop. But
how many eggies does that knife cost? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Knowing lion steel, that might be 3/4 of an eggie. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, I joked about 100
from lion steel. Jesus. Yeah.
I joked about the cost being $185 or whatever, but it might legitimately be $185 if the whole thing's titanium and the bits are like primo.
We might pretend it's a Microtech proprietary tool. It might be $150. Like seriously.
Well,
it does. Yeah.
Is it a Fabergé eggie or is it just a normal eggie?
The worst part is if it was a Fabergé eggie, I might actually be more tempted to like consider purchasing one.
Only if they call it that exactly.
Oh, of course, but it has to be like bejeweled. It can't just be like anodized different colors. They got to really gussy it up.
Give me some garnet.
Gussy up my torque tool.
Not a sentence I thought I'd ever hear.
I'm getting a wish eggie.
I'm getting a wish eggie. They probably already exist.
I was going to say they're already on their way out.
I was going to say they've existed for the last 2 years. We just didn't know about it.
All right, let's round this shit out. Anyway, this should have made a list if their price point hadn't been stupid on it. But
it's not like they haven't overcharged for D2 before.
Anyway, yeah.
You want to make sure you got a flared base, Justin. You got to be careful about that shit. All I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, all of the YouTubey stuff. Comment what your favorites were down in the bottom, guys. We'll do a follow-up. If it's nothing that we've talked about, we'll talk about more SHOT Show shit while we're waiting for new stuff to come in. It's, what we do.
Absolutely.
Make fun of things that we like.
Some of those Benchmates will be coming in. We didn't talk about Benchmade stuff because they're just another one like, oh yeah, they came out with those, but we'll have some closer up reviews.
I'm excited about a few things from them.
Soon enough, gentlemen. Talk about other social media, you sons of bitches.
Follow us on Instagram. I'm sure at some point, eventually, things will get posted there. It's a rave review of following us. Yeah, follow us on Instagram, please.
Do an eggie giveaway.
That helped reach.
Oh, is the eggie like Dennis's tweezers? Is that what's going on here?
Dennis's? I thought that was Joe's.
Yes, but the eggie would be.
Oh, my version of a tweezer. I see.
Maybe
it is. We'll have to see price point. I'm scared.
Speaking of eggies and X-rays from the ER.
Speaking of Patreon, thanks for everyone who does actually participate. We will be throwing out a thank you here sometime soon. We should probably talk about that. It's a new year. It was going to be a Christmassy thing, and it still might be, but it's going to be a belated Christmas.
Christmas 2022.
Yeah. If I reground it, does that mean I have to detanto the eggie? The blade shape. I have to tanto it.
You have to tanto it.
Inside.
The blade shape. And then it'll just look like the Ontario tanto that they shouldn't have done on either the Rat or the Air Force version. Anyway. All right, gentlemen, let's round this out. It's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next Sunday with some other sort of crazy bullshit. So on that note, I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
And I'm Exile.ca.
Thanks once again, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Crazy garbage. There's a whole bunch of crazy garbage this year for SHOT Show.
So much shit we didn't even talk about.
Oh,
Hashtag crazy garbage.
yeah. Hot garbage.
Yeah, there you go.